Impressions Printing, Metrotech Technology Centers, Kai's Concept, Perry Publishing and Broadcasting Company, and Rookie League Foundation of Oklahoma. So for those who are watching tonight, let me tell you, Dungy is in the building. For those who are seasoned, you know what I'm talking about. If not, I'll just say Star Spencer is in the house tonight. It's all Bobcats all show long. So cats up. And at the table right now, we're going to have the Star Spencer girls basketball team. And then coming up in about 15 to 25 minutes, we will have the Star Spencer boys basketball team tuning in to join us here at the table. I'm Maurice Prince tonight, in for Michael McDaniel. He has a little thing going on. His daughter is competing in, I think it's the championship game tonight going on, so he won't be with us tonight. But don't worry, I won't, take his seat. He'll have it back real soon. Joining me at the table tonight, I'm happy to say I have the girls basketball team players with me and head coach. First of all, head coach Jamie Caldwell is here. Then I have players Candace Brady and, of course, Aisha Carter. See, I almost messed up already. See, she had already corrected me once, but I had to get it. Aisha Carter. How are you ladies doing tonight?
I'm doing good.
That's good. All right, that's good. Coach Caldwell, Coach. Districts are this weekend. Talk to me about the beginning of this season for this team. What were some of the goals that you were looking to accomplish as this team has progressed through the year? What's some stories?
Well, we started out wanting to be a more defensive-minded team. I think that we've worked on that. We're building on that. We still have a lot of work to do, but we're getting there.
When you looked at that defensive mentality of a team, what does that require from a coach to try and convince? Because right now we're in the age of everybody wants to score the ball. Everybody thinks they can move the ball around and do all the fancy stuff. So how do you work on trying to get them to understand the importance of defense?
First, I am trying to drill into their heads that defense will lead to offense. You get those steals, you get easy layups and shots off of those steals. So we've been working on that and basically trying to change the mentality of the team around to get more on that track of being on that winning tradition again.
I see senior Aisha over here, kind of nodding her head, understanding. So Aisha, talk to me about, a team that is trying to learn a new philosophy or to get better at that. What was some of the things that you understood as a senior, been at this program for a while, that you knew that needed to happen this year?
I just knew we had a whole bunch of younger girls coming in. They didn't know what to do and who need a lot of help. So me as a senior who's been here all 4 years, I know how the game is played, know the game at Star Spencer. So I know that I need to bring my teammates in and on the same level as me, kind of help them to better themselves and help me to win.
All right, Isaac, thank you for that. Candace, did the team get it? Because you're a sophomore. You're when she says young, that's still you. So how did you feel about that, and how did that team start to blend and understanding that a little bit?
They're slowly progressing to get better. I know we look up to Aisha, Corinthia, and them. So every game I see Aisha oh, I can score. She's scoring every game. I can do that. I'm going to get in the gym. And every practice, we're working on getting better, because we know we're not going to be playing with them next year. So,
Okay. Now, interesting. You brought up the word practice. Practice. What are the practices like?
The practices are good, we have our little goofy moments, but here and there, we try to be serious.
That's okay. It's about having fun. So, Aisha, how would you say the practice, how competitive are the practices, would you say?
The upperclassmen definitely push the younger classmen way harder. I feel like we all have our heads on straight, but it could be more
little bit more focus is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Coach, let's try to kind of tie this all together. So, there's a fine line between balance and then teaching and also maintaining that overall. So, it's a process. It's not something you walk in, you wave, and throw some dust on the table, and it just happens. So, how has the team been responding to that? And with playoffs right around the corner here, we're talking districts on Saturday. Where's the next step in that process for this team?
Well, I would say having more consistent presence in practice would always help us. We don't always have team members and parents that understand that practice every day is important. So that's been a struggle, but we're getting there. We're working on it.
Interesting you bring that up, because I think the level of sometimes parental expectation doesn't always match what the structure or what the system requires, meaning that your understanding of what you see and what you think based upon what a coach understands from the team may vary a little different. So that's always a process on that. How do you try to manage that situation? Because you need the parents, you want them to support the team. You want them to support everybody on the roster, not just one. So what's the steps, or what should be the steps in your opinion, that helps bridge that a little bit to kind of make it smoother? Because when you have a program in transition from one phase to another, sometimes everybody doesn't want to cross the bridge.
So from the very beginning, we've always pushed, we're a family. And so if we're going to be a family, we have to pull in the extended family as well. So I try to keep in communication with the parents, keep them involved in different things that we're doing, and hopefully they will get on the train and we have more cooperation.
And get on board. Aja, let me come back to you. When it comes to the teams that you've played on, because each individual year has its own identity, what would you say this team identity is for this season? I mean, if you had to say maybe a word or something that may kind of encapsulate what you've experienced this year for this team, what would you say that is? Because it's not, let me rephrase that, because it's not over yet. It's not over. So what would you say the team is right now? How about that? That's a better question.
Hungry for a win.
All right.
More wins than we have right now.
All right. Candace, would you agree with that? I mean, do you feel like what's something that you would use, a word that you would use to describe the team at where it is right now?
I agree with Aja with hungry. And then another word I would use is scary.
Okay. All right. What, give me a little bit on that. What makes you choose that word?
Well, with the freshmen and us younger, I feel like they feel like just not coming into high school, they're like, oh my God, I'm going against a senior. What if they block my shot? But at the end of the day, they shouldn't be worried about that. So I feel like them coming into high school, they're like a little nervous and scared. So that's what I would say.
Try to work that out. Now, you being a sophomore, of course, have a year underneath your belt. So at what point did those jitters stop for you a little bit, where as Aja will tell you, it slows down quite a bit. Mm-hmm. So at what point for you has it slowed down, or is an aspect of the game not as intimidating as it once was?
The jitters went down middle of freshman year. I got comfortable with the team, and I felt like they made me feel a part of their family. Once I get comfortable with them, I'm like, oh, okay, it's not that bad. When I get my shot blocked, when I get fouled, they're always there to lift me up. So that's how.
All right. Aja, you've had some great teammates that you've played with over the years. Not everybody's here on the show tonight, but if you had to show some love to a couple of those of those teammates that have, been in the trenches with you, who would that be?
Shania Wiley, for sure. That's been my dog since I started playing at Star Spencer. One of the best role models for me, honestly. She taught me how to go and get my own no matter what, and to play hard every chance I got, no matter what.
All right. So, Candace, obviously, there's going to be some role models and some folks that you look up to in your game. You know, who are some players that you're playing with now that you're saying, okay, in the future, I'm looking to make that bond, that same bond that, you know, that, that she's talking about that you would like to have.
I would say her and well, her as in Aja and Quinaya Brown. Them going in the score, not like we could be down by like 30. They're still gonna go fight no matter what, and I love to see that for them. So
Coach, when you hear the athletes start talking amongst themselves about the connections and the chemistry, you made a comment earlier about the family environment that you have been working on building and establishing amongst the team. How exciting is that for you to see the amount of love and camaraderie amongst the team?
It's great because being at Star, we don't get to play year round together. So we come in the beginning of the season or the beginning of the school year and we're starting off. We do a little bit in the summertime, but there are other teams out there that are like playing games and practicing all year round. So we don't have that luxury, and we don't have the luxury of having AAU players and stuff come in. So to see them bond and create that bond off the court and hopefully bring that on to the court makes us play so much better as a team.
Aja, talk to me about your mentality in terms of the sport of basketball over the last few years. I've had a chance over the last few years to see you play a couple of times. I've seen the confidence in your game continue to grow. But as the stages grow, so does the mental strength because everybody can play well when you're winning. But the challenge is to play your best, even though the outcome may not be determined, but you can see that there's going to be a bigger challenge. Talk to me about the mentality that you've kind of established over the last few years, and actually this year, another level.
I know I have to be strong-minded, level-headed. I have to go and fight and get what's mine no matter what. I know we play better teams all the time. We play teams that are beneath us, but I know I'm going to go out there and give it my all every time, leave it all out on the floor, and I'm going to fight for my teammates like they will fight for me. I know that you have alumni in the stands, always there to support and want the best for us. So I feel like the legacy that some of them have built, it's only right to continue on and play as hard as they did for me.
Candace, I see you getting your head nod on. So what's your thought about what she said and something that maybe you need to do also in your game?
I agree with the part with the alumni. Like, we don't have that many supporters out there fighting with us. So seeing the alumni standing there fighting beside us just gives me like the courage to keep playing my game and keep fighting for what's mine.
That's wonderful. I love that you said that. What's the next step in your game? What's something that you want to add next? I mean, there's still time this season to still work on things, because like I said, the season's not over yet. Mm-hmm. So what's something a part of your game that you're like, I need, by the time you see me next time we do this interview, I'm going to have this added onto my game. What's that next layer?
I want to be more of a leader on the court. I know as an underclassman, I don't get seen as much, but I want to like prove that like I'm on the court too. Like, yeah, I'm with Aja and them, but I want to show like I'm out there playing my game too.
It's interesting because I have been able to commentate and call a lot of games, and the one thing I always hear from the players, there always will be a player that seems to be extremely gifted. I mean, you play with somebody like that all the time, but one thing I always find out is if you go and are attacking at the level that you can, the game becomes easier for everybody. It's not just that. So I've seen that happen so many times. And so as you guys, ladies, get ready for Heritage Hall this weekend, what's going to be the focus in practice? Candace, I'll go to you. I know what I'm going to get from Aisha on this one.
Okay. So like in practice, I feel like just moving, communicating more, because I know we're the better team, so we just gotta like talk to each other, communicate, get better at defense, so we can accomplish it on offense and score more. And yeah.
Okay, Aja. So Heritage Hall is your focus. That's the only team that matters. It doesn't matter who else is doing whatever. So what is your goal to get this team ready to do in this game? The game is Saturday, correct?
Friday.
Okay.
Friday at 6.
Friday. Okay. Yeah. Friday at 6. You heard her. Get it out. So what does the team need to do?
I know the first time we played them at our house, we didn't get the outcome we expected, but it was a real challenging game. Like, some of us weren't in the right headspace, and I know that the growth that we've made since that game, we have a very good chance of beating them at their house.
Oh, okay. At their house.
But,
Okay.
Yeah, just everybody be on the same page, defensive minded, defense leads to offense, and get this dub Friday.
You made Coach Caldwell smile when you said that, Coach. So this week, it's another opportunity for this team to, shatter that ceiling a little bit more and push the mark a little higher. Excited to see this team do what come Friday? What are you most looking forward to for that?
I would most like to see them be more aggressive defensively and offensively, but most definitely defensively. So we will be working on defense for sure in practice, working on blocking out, not giving second chances.
Yeah, Heritage Hall likes to run that five high and then move out of position and cause people to get out of position. They drive and kick. That's one of the things that you're going to see a whole lot of. So when you start looking at, the challenges of getting a team to understand that they're going to do the same thing first quarter, second quarter. It's the old tree chop, as I used to call it. They're going to keep hitting it until you break, and then when you break, they're going to just sprout ahead. Because there's always ebbs and flows in the game. How do you want your team to be able to learn now to respond to those negative situations? Because they're going to go on a spurt. I mean, that's a common part of playoff basketball. It's a game of runs. What will you need to you're hoping that your team will respond this week and do when Heritage Hall knocks down 5-6 points, maybe goes on a 10-0 run? What is your hope that they would respond to this week?
We need to keep the same energy throughout the whole game, play the 4 quarters with the same energy, intensity, and go on spurts ourselves.
Aja, the team, not everybody's experienced playoff ball. There's always you're always playing the other team, but you always have to adjust to how the officiating is being called. Some games, the Euro ain't a Euro. Some games, a foul ain't a foul. Some games, you foul, I don't foul. I think there's a problem when I do it. Is that how that goes?
It's cool when
you
they do it. I do it.
So with that being said, how do you respond to that you're going to have to explain to the other teammates that you have how they're going to get away? Because that's not just an if, it is a reality when you're playing playoffs, especially on somebody else's floor.
Well, we've been telling them all year, especially playing that star spin, you're not going to get the calls that you want all the time. You're not going to get really anything, honestly. Sometimes a foul isn't a foul, but you still have to go out there and play the game that you know how to play. Don't let fans, refs, anybody get in your head. Go out there and get what's yours and play your best ball, because it's playoffs. Everybody's coming to play their best ball. Nobody's just going to let you go out there and play. So, you got to give it your all every time.
That's right. Candace, there's going to be times where Aja's going to be off the floor. You might be on the floor. That's an opportunity. So when you're faced with an opportunity like that, what's the most important thing to do?
That's a good question actually, because it's been a couple times where I'm not on the floor with Aisha, so I have to take over. Sometimes I am nervous, and I'm like, oh my god, like what am I supposed to do? But I just like I am with my team, so I give them an opportunity. Like, okay, it's your time to shine. You can go score too. It's my time to shine. Like we gotta go out there and play our game and just keep it 100%.
Aja, as we get ready for this ending this segment here, because I'm going to come around the table, is there anyone who you'd like to thank for supporting you, who have been a part of what you've been building as we get ready to go to break?
I would first like to thank my family, who's always supported me no matter what. I'd also like to thank the alumni that surrounded me since my freshman year, Coach Christopher Brown and Coach Kanisha Briggs. They've always been super strong role models for me, who's pushed me to play my best basketball no matter what. And, yeah, I thank the Star Spencer community as a whole for always being there for me.
All right. Miss Candace Brady, who would you like to thank?
First, I would like to thank my mother, and then I'll go with my father and all Star Spencer community. This wonderful coach right here.
Good one.
She texts me every summer, making sure I'm in the gym. When I went to my college camp, she just motivated me to keep going and just to keep working on myself. I also want to give shout outs to Coach Cudjoe. He's always been by my side. And yeah.
All right, well, I appreciate that. Coach Caldwell, as we get ready to go, there's always, ways to thank parents and to thank some others that have supported you. Who would you like to highlight?
All of our parents, because they would not be there if it wasn't for their parents. So they play a big role, whether they know it or not. We're always trying to get them in the gym, and everybody doesn't have a ride, and it's crazy sometimes. But we ask a lot of the parents, so their support is wonderful, because I go further and say, hey, can you pick up such and such kid too on your way? So I've got parents that pick up other players along with bringing their kids. The community also of Star Spencer they've been great. The 2 years that I've been there coaching, they come back for homecoming. We always have a large crowd for homecoming for Dungy.
Oh yeah, standing room only.
Mm-hmm. So we thank them for that support always.
Coach, what will be one thing that you will say to your team as you prepare them, something that you're going to say in practice this week to try and get them motivated for Friday?
I would say you just got to go get it. We have to go get it.
All right.
Sometimes we start out a little timid, and we've got to start out hungry, like Aisha said, and everybody needs to eat.
I appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Star Spencer Bobcat girls basketball team. They'll be in action, according to Aisha, at 6 o'clock on Friday at the Hall. Yep. They better know the Bobcats are coming. This is the Oklahoma City Public School Coaches Show. Brought to you by TTCU Federal Credit Union and T-Stone, also sponsored by Dick's Sporting Goods, Bedford Photography, Big O's Pork and Dreams, Impressions Printing, Metro Tech Technology Center, Kai's Concept, Perry Publishing and Broadcasting Company, and Rookie League Foundation of Oklahoma. We're going to hit a break, and we'll be back on the other side. The boys basketball team and Coach Cudjoe is coming up next. We'll be right back. TCU Federal Credit Union and T-Stone also. Sponsored by Dick's Sporting Goods, Bedford Photography, Big O's Pork and Dreams, Impressions Printing, Metrotech Technology Center, Kai's Concept, Perry Publishing and Broadcasting, and of course the Rookie League Foundation of Oklahoma. Maurice Prince here in for Michael McDaniel, but the Bobcats won't stop. Star Spencer still at the building. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, you are seeing the trophy. Of course, that was won a few years ago for Star Spencer, but I'm honored to have at the table with me tonight two seniors. Folks who've been around for a little bit of time and know how to play some basketball. I have Corian Anderson and Kaleon Johnson joining me. Of course, at the table tonight, I think it's one of the most honorable families that have probably a love for teaching more than they do for coaching the sport of basketball. But let me tell you, they're good at it. That is the Cudjoe family. And right now I'm honored to have with me Lance Cudjoe at the table tonight. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
All right, Kaleon and Corian, how y'all doing? You guys doing all right?
I'm doing
Yes,
good.
sir. We doing
Okay,
good.
this is the smooth part of the broadcast. Everybody wants to know. This is the Suave House guys here. Their game is much different on the court than they are when they're off here. When I put a microphone in front of them, they don't know what to say. But during the game, I have seen communication. Hey man, cut. Do all this stuff. I've seen it, but right now everybody wants to be a little bit quiet. But that's okay. I'm gonna take them right to the hole right now and see if I can't get to. So Kaleon, coming to you first. When we start talking about, being a Bobcat and coming into your senior year, what's a part of your game that you brought to the table this year that you were hoping that, to continue to improve on and add?
I feel like I could continue to improve on my passing, like giving my teammates open shots, like giving them opportunities to shoot the ball. And sometimes they seem like they're nervous to shoot the ball, and I try to not force them to shoot the ball, but force them to shoot the ball.
Yeah, I understand that, but Kaylee, I'm gonna be honest with you. There's not been a jump shot that you've been afraid of since I've known you. No, you're not shy. What I have noticed about your game, one of the things I have noticed was that your game is not always predicated anymore on scoring. That's growth because now you understand the importance of getting the teammates going. Was that something that you intended to do this year, or is that something that you found yourself in a more comfortable role right now in doing?
Yeah, it's something I just did, and I just found out that it works and it's good, and I just did that more.
Okay, so Corian, let me ask you: is he giving you the ball, man?
Yes, he is.
Is he giving you the ball? So, Corian, let's talk about your game. What's some things that you wanted to bring to the table this year for the Bobcats, and you wanted to see yourself grow and accomplish this year?
Well, just more on rebounding and, more just on defensive, because the defensive side will come more on scoring because, as Coach Cudjoe said, defense wins championships, and we're looking to win another state. So,
all right, let's go put it right together. Coach, of course, that's something that seems to be a lost art nowadays. The word defense is almost, I don't want to say it's extinct like a dinosaur, but in so many ways it is. Getting these young men to buy into that philosophy, how has that been this year, trying to get them to understand the importance of if you get the defense, the offense will come?
It's been a real challenge. Our philosophy at Star Spencer, boys basketball, is that our defense in the past, we could take you out of what you wanted to run. You have to be in tremendous condition to do that. You have to have a tremendous understanding and comprehension of where to be on the ball, off the ball, covering for your teammate, etc., rotations, etc. You also have to have a mentality where you can grind throughout the game and still do everything that you're supposed to do. And the final challenge has been to play good defense where you're not fouling. And that's been a real challenge for us. In the past, we've had more time to really teach the game, how it's supposed to be played. That's been a real challenge. But now that Oklahoma City's been gracious in giving us better facilities to do that in the future, we'll get there. But it's been a real challenge this year.
When you mention the challenges, because there are a lot of things in that, with young men learning to play the game, and the game, it seems like the boys' basketball game in particular is more at a much more feverish pace, and you get into situations where it's still about being in the right position more so than it is, but somehow, a foul here is not always interpreted the same. How do you get the young men not to get down on themselves, to get frustrated in game situations when you're not getting the calls, when you're not getting those things? Because so often nowadays, from game to game, sometimes from quarter to quarter, it changes. 1 minute that's not traveling, next minute it is traveling. They get into discussions, and all of a sudden 10 points later by the opponent, you're out of the game because mentally you've checked out.
That's life. That's life. And we've talked about from the very beginning, you're not going to always get the calls, and so that's life. All you can do is do what you're supposed to do, what you're taught to do, with values that you know you're supposed to do, and that's life. And so you have to strive and overcome that. But arguing, having a beef with the official is not acceptable. It's not tolerated, and I never will allow that to happen with my players. But that's life. I mean, things just don't work and come out the way you want them to. And so, but if you know that you're doing the right thing, if you know your values and principles of what you're doing is the right thing, when you learn to play together defensively as a team, I have to have trust and belief that when I go somewhere, my teammate is going to be where he or she is supposed to be, then you'll be okay.
Coach, every team has goals, and you're one of the few coaches that I get to actually sit down and talk with on the radio.
And I miss our talks.
That is not just about wins and losses. It's about growing young men. That approach that you've always had, I'm sure these young men may not all see it at the time, because sometimes it comes out in it comes out in yelling, it comes out in certain things. But talk a little bit about that, because I think it's something that people don't often understand.
I think one of the greatest things that I've enjoyed about this year, even though we've not had the success that we want to have, these guys know I love them. My students know that I love them. And it's been a pleasure when I take them home that before they get out of the car, they say, Coach Cudjoe, I love you. And so that's been good. But to get them to understand that everything that I'm teaching in basketball is a principle and a value of making you become a better man. I mean, the emphasis has always been about, can you become a better man? How you treat people, how you treat women. All those things are extremely important. And so the yelling, it's about passion. It's a difference between yelling at someone just to yell and having a passion for what you believe in and how you want to play. So we understand stereotypes, and stereotypes are, we don't care, and we don't play hard, and we don't want to work hard. And it's a difference between that and playing hard and being passionate. Okay, not being an idiot, not being stupid, not, letting things get out of control. But it's important that you're passionate about everything that you do in life.
Corian, I see you listening to your coach there. Is some of this you've heard before, what Coach is talking about?
Yes, sir.
You don't have to be shy about that, because I want to, how much time, because I want everybody to understand, he talks X's and O's all the time, okay, where you're supposed to be, but he also talks about you growing and becoming a better. How often do you hear that in the practice?
Well, I hear it a lot, because sometimes we go in practice, we go bull crap around, and we go play around, and, sometimes it'll be like the day before the game. Like, he's like, man, we need to get it together, man. Y'all don't want to win. Y'all want to go out. Y'all want to go play. Y'all want to go do all this other stuff, go hang out with women. And then at the end of the day, when y'all leave high school and stuff, y'all don't have a McDonald's job, man. It's all about heart. It's all about what y'all want to do in life, but y'all don't care for real. So, you know, some people go home and think about it, and some people go home and think about it 2 days later. And, you know, couple days we have good practices, couple days we don't, you know.
Leon, would you agree with what Corian just said?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with everything he said.
Okay, so you know, why do you feel, or do you feel? Let me ask that question. That it's difficult right now for your teammates and others on the team, some that start, some that come off the bench, and others, to kind of understand what's being said. What's been so hard about that? Because you guys are seniors, so you have to lead, and the younger players don't always understand the philosophy, don't always get it. So what's the challenges with dealing with young players with that?
I feel like the challenge dealing with young players is distractions. Like, they may be distracted of things outside of the sport of basketball, things that's happening in their personal life, whatever. And yeah, coming in, trying to learn something new, trying to play through him yelling and getting on to them and stuff, and may be difficult for them to do.
Corian, you agree with that? Is that something that's been difficult to do? So as seniors, how do you guys lead that? Because you're only as strong as the youngest player that sees action on the floor can produce. So if you're not that strong, how do you guys, what is your level of responsibility you feel, either one of you can answer this, to try and get that message across? Because it's only so much the coach can say. It's only so much that that you can hear over and over and over before you realize it's just went this way, that way, no look past. How do you guys try to help the other teammates out with that?
Me, what I try to do, I try to speak to them first, like in a calm manner. If I see them like putting their head down or getting onto themselves, I try to like keep them up, tell them like it's all right, keep playing. If you miss a shot, you're gonna make the next one, and yeah, keep playing.
Corian?
Well, I try to keep my teammates up, because you know your teammates is like your family up there. So I try to keep my teammates up, try to keep them pushing, and you know when stuff goes on at practice, we try to get on to them, let them know like you gotta lock in.
It's really difficult in today's society to get young men to sacrifice and commit what's best for the team or the family.
Yeah, because why would I need to give that up if so-and-so ain't got to give that up? See, I guess it's the correct chemistry in basketball is not, everybody wants to believe that we all dropping 20 and 10, and we all just, I mean, that's the way it is. But there will be a person that may only score 5, and then there's not a stat for everything else that they do, but it turns into winning basketball. So one thing I know that you guys hear, what's winning basketball at Star Spencer like? What does winning basketball look like at Star?
Winning basketball to me is when everybody's doing their job, everybody's like getting open shots for each other, everybody moving the ball around, rebounding good, playing defense well, and offense, and yeah.
Okay, Corian.
Winning basketball, well, my coach, assistant coach, Coach Smith said, this is like a car, and everybody has to do their car part. You know, if you're a tire, do the tire. Be the tire. Don't be the engine. You know what I'm saying? If you're not the door, don't be the door. You know, go out there and go be the tire. Go get the rebounds. You know what I'm saying? If you the door, go out there and go shoot the threes. Don't try to drive in. You know, winning basketball is just like going out there, working hard, playing defense, and going out there and just go playing your position. And just going out there and go giving everything you got with love and having fun.
Okay, now you guys got Heritage Hall this week. Okay, Friday night. I take it's at 7:30 because Aja made it very clear that they play at 6.
Yeah.
So when we start talking about that, how does that translate into action? Is it what is that? Okay, so we can talk about it here at this great table, having a great conversation, people all over to watch and listening to this conversation that we're having. But how does that translate on Friday night? Because, see, it's one thing to talk it, it's one thing to execute it in the game. So how does it become, how do the two get together? You know, it's, you know, when opportunity meets that, how does that play in? Because what you're saying is everything right. So what better place than Friday night for it to all come together and everybody see it? What is it? What does that look like? How does that work?
Last time we played Heritage Hall, we came up short. But
Can I ask why?
just getting on ourselves. We came out halftime slow. Yeah, not doing our job. Everybody trying.
Did you have a lead going into halftime?
No, I think we were down by like a few points.
A few points. So in other words, you was close. So Heritage Hall in the second half was just gonna give it to you. They said, oh, they're only down a few, so we just gonna let y'all. Is that how the team came out?
Yes.
All right. So how do we correct that this time?
I feel like we can correct it by working on the rebounds more, closing out on defense, like their three or their shooters, getting up and turning their man like full court, just playing better defense and a better game.
And cut down on our turnovers.
Yeah.
Our team this year, we've turned the ball over a tremendous amount of times. We've not had a natural point guard in 4 years. And we turn the ball over 25, 30 times a game. And so we've been working on not turning the ball over. It gives us a better chance to win.
Corian, can you guys come with the energy this time? The same energy for all four? Because the one thing about it, they break it down into quarters, not into halves yet. So in quarters, you get to reset the table each time. Because like the fouls go from 5 to back to 0 again. Can you guys bring the energy this time around for all four?
Oh yes, definitely. No matter what happens, what's going on in that game, even if we're down, the thing about it is to keep your head up and stick your chest out and keep playing hard. So the thing about it is to just work hard through that whole game. When we was playing hard in fine arts, even though we should have blew them out, the thing is about it that we still played hard through the whole game, and that is why we won. So we keep our energy, we keep our heads up, and we keep on playing hard. We will win that game.
But I feel good about that.
But another important thing to learn, to teach young men, is that you have to get rest. You have to get rest, and you have to prepare throughout the week to play a game. And so if you have plenty of rest, you have the right diet, you have the right mental preparation.
So you're saying
then you can play for 30
So you're saying put your phone down at night, go to sleep, not staying up 1, 2 in the morning,
yes, sir.
and then wake up the next day not mentally sharp?
That championship team there, they made the sacrifice to do that throughout the whole year. That's what brought out the results. And so what you just articulated, that's important for our young men to learn.
The distractions really cost a team's progress now. I've heard this said, I'm not going to say it, who said it, but I'm going to say, they said right now young people overall have too many options. When we were younger, meaning myself, because I'm not going to speak for anybody else, that there was only a few choices. So either you did or you didn't. There was no, well, let me figure that out in the gray here. You got in there for a minute, then somebody said you had to make a choice. Now, I don't want to be my best today. I'm not feeling it today. I don't want to do it today. I don't do those things. And it all paramountly turns into something that identity brought by one player goes to another player, goes to another player, and the next thing you know, you're down 25. That's just the way it is in a blink, because basketball can be very cruel when you don't give it the respect that it's due. Coach, I'm backs up against the wall here, and we won't get a chance to dive into all the great topics that you and I had talked about, but one thing I want to give you an opportunity to do, you guys are playing Heritage Hall. The season's not over. There's an opportunity for this team to do great things. In your opinion, beyond all the challenges that you have faced this year, how can the team get there, in your opinion?
Rest, mental preparation, and a commitment to what you want.
Very simple. Kaleon, Corian, is there anyone you guys would like to thank? I want to give you guys an opportunity to do that.
I would like to thank both my parents and Coach Cudjoe, of course.
That's always good.
Yeah.
Always good to get the coach in there. Yeah.
Yeah. And the whole Star Spencer community. Yeah.
Corian.
I'd like to thank Coach Cudjoe. I'd like to thank my grandma and my family. I'd like to thank Star Spencer community, and I like to thank God.
Oh, hey, I love that. But he said it first, so you still have to do wind sprints. Coach, as we get out, is there anyone you'd like to thank? I mean, that's really a 30-minute question for you because of all I'm serious, because there's a lot of people who are responsible for what your family has contributed to the sport and legacy in Oklahoma. But if you had to pick out a few.
God, community, and my family. And I really would like to thank the community for keeping me inspired. And that includes my students. Good coaches have good players. Good teachers have good students. And people like you also, because people like you hold me accountable too. And that's important. You know, we have our goals and we see things that we want to have done, and people like you will come and talk to me and say, "Hey, this is what I see," and that's what makes a great community.
Thank you so much, Coach, for your honesty and always your true nature. This is the Oklahoma City Public School Coaches Show. This has been the Star Spencer Bobcat Shows, presented by TTCU, Federal Credit Union, and T-Stone. Also sponsored by Dick's Sporting Goods, Bedford Photography, Big O's Pork and Dreams, and Impressions Printing, Metro Tech Technology Center, Kai's Concept, Perry Publishing and Broadcasting, and the Rookie League Foundation of Oklahoma. We'll see you guys next time on the show. Have a great Monday night.